And we are back with the super heavyweight final, the first male final of the day here at the 2023 World Jiu-Jitsu Championships. We've got Kaynan Duarte, two-time world champion, taking on Erich Munis, another two-time world champion. And this is a match I think everyone was looking forward to before this world championship started.
I mean, this is a match we get to see because Kaynan's up at super, right? Kaynan is the current heavyweight world champion, moved up to super heavyweight, going up against the reigning super heavy champion in Erich Munis.
Yeah, like you said, Kaynan, 2 world titles, both in the heavyweight division. Both of Erich's world titles came at super heavy. Kaynan bumped up to super heavy for the first time this year at the Europeans. He had 100% submission right there, winning his weight class and the open class. Looked incredible. Hasn't competed in a major tournament since then, but Erich did compete at the Pans where he won the super heavy division. Also took silver in the open. And these are 2 of the best black belts on the planet. Very excited for this super heavyweight final.
One thing that's been a consistent theme in Kaynan's career is this come up sweep with the pant grip.
Sweep.
We see so much of that from Kaynan Duarte, and it is always fun to see, especially on best athletes in the world. Now Erich there obviously transitioning to his guard, had a quick look at potentially a triangle, but mainly looking back to get in the driver's seat again. We know he's super dangerous from here, but it can be tough with an athlete like Kaynan Duarte. When he comes up on top with that pant grip, he gets right into his passes. So Erich's going to need to really establish a strong guard to get back in the driver's seat of this match.
Yeah, you talked about Kaynan's passes, and here we see him digging for that underhook, trying to get his right knee to the floor.
Yeah, he does have a deep knee cut. We have the leg of Erich Munis, his left knee coming through in a knee shield. Started to bring the lapel around. Kaynan was able to bail on the knee cut. It wasn't looking quite as certain anymore, and now he's back in the center of Erich's guard.
Stylistically, this matchup is so interesting to me too. You talked about Kaynan's come-up sweep. That's a sweep that not only he uses, but a lot of his Atos teammates use. So it's a very refined and technical sweep that he hit perfectly to start this match out. And then we've got Erich, who has an incredible guard, uses these double sleeve grips often, uses the lapel grips. And even their passing styles, I would say Kaynan prefers more of a pressure style passing on top. Erich a bit more of a loose Toriano style guard passer. And that makes this matchup all the more interesting. Erich now using that foot in the lapel, trying to off balance Kaynan.
Almost like a lapel spider, right?
Yes.
And with the long legs like that, you can get so much extension using the lapel. And a lot of athletes prefer this because instead of attacking the arm and the shoulder, it actually attaches a bit more to the center line of the body. And so when you extend your leg like that, and not only if someone has really flexible shoulders, they can kind of limp out of a spider guard sweep, whereas with the foot in the lapel like that, you can really move the center line and start to elevate up like this, like we're seeing Erich do, into a single leg style with his legs still attached inside.
Going to get reset back in the center. Kaynan Duarte leading this match 2-0, got that early sweep over Erich Munis.
Interesting to see Erich come up for that sweep with his legs still wrapped in the lapel. It's not something we see super often. As you can imagine, it's very difficult to finish a sweep when you have one leg yourself. But he was able to off-balance Kaynan a little bit and then opted to pull back into his guard seated.
Interesting control here with his left arm grabbing the lapel. Lapel draped over his left leg. Erich with his left arm underneath Kaynan's right leg.
Now Kaynan has a really smart grip on his left hand here on the pants because he's going to be able to defend against the potential spider guard of Erich coming in on the right side. He's able to keep his elbow nice and closed to prevent too much movement of that leg. But as I say that, Erich's leg, he loses the grip on the pants. Erich's leg moves to the knee now, being able to extend the base of Kaynan Duarte. So that pant grip was holding that leg in play, and now Erich has a much better opportunity to off-balance Kaynan.
He's also got that sleeve grip with his right hand on Kaynan's left arm. So if he's able to off-balance him to his right, maybe a bit more difficult for Kaynan to post and defend that sweep. You can see Kaynan trying to lean back to his right to avoid that angle. Now Erich trying to take him that way, comes up, gets the sweep. He will even this match at 2 points apiece.
That was some big extension with that right leg to knock Kaynan all the way over.
It's interesting though, we're in one of Kaynan's best sweeping positions here. Erich, of course, has a great back step guard pass from the single leg X, but there he goes, trying to step his leg out.
And nobody wants to be in Kaynan's X guard, that's for sure.
Yes.
Erich really insistent on keeping that pant grip with his left leg. As he switches it to the sleeve, now to posture up, break the grip of himself. We see a come up and a wrestle up for Kaynan Duarte on a single leg here. We'll be able to finish it and put Erich down.
Beautiful transition to the single leg by Kaynan Duarte.
He still has the leg. He tried to step through for a sweep, wasn't able to get it. He loses the position. Not only does he lose the position, but Erich opts to pull close guard. Now that is a really significant part of the match because they would have ended up on top with Kaynan in 2. We know Kaynan's so good at scoring from that bottom position where he was playing his nice guards there. It's how he scored earlier in the match. But with Erich breaking the position and then re-pulling, this puts Kaynan in a bit of a difficult spot. Now on top in the closed guard with no score for all of that hard work on the wrestle up that he did.
Very interesting transition so far, about halfway through this match. Erich Munis representing Fratres Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on bottom in the white gi. He has 2 points. Kaynan Duarte representing Atos Jiu-Jitsu on top in the blue gi also has 2 points.
Now Kaynan Duarte representing Atos. We also hear Philippe Pena in the crowd right behind us, cheering Kaynan on, giving him some advice, doing some coaching himself.
Both these athletes going for their 3rd IBJJF black belt world title. Erich trying to use that lapel, feeding it over the top of Kaynan's right arm. Kaynan with his arms in Erich's armpits. We'll see if he tries to use that to stand up.
And we saw Erich in on this scoop grip underneath the leg, passing the lapel through. It's a really, really precarious position for Kaynan Duarte because he can continue to try to sprawl that leg back to break the grip. If he does, of course, he's going to be off balance on the right side. But what Erich can do is he can invert his left knee and start attacking that leg of Kaynan Duarte. So that lapel grip is not to be ignored, right? It attaches somebody's body to your leg in a way that can be very dangerous. We see Kaynan putting all the weight on his right leg and lifting his left leg up. But we also see, I believe, a penalty just awarded for each athlete.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but that seems like it's a pretty difficult grip to break once it's kind of set in place.
It really is, because of the angle. It's difficult for Kaynan to reach back and retrieve that lapel, right? Sometimes you see athletes reach back and grab the tail end of the lapel and rip it out. But if you notice, Erich's grip is so deep on the end of the lapel, there's nothing really left to grab. So a lot of times they'll opt to stand up, and one option Kaynan has here, he has many, of course, he can opt to push that foot down and try to step over it. But instead, you notice he's anchoring into Erich with that right hand. He's really keeping himself anchored, keeping his balance, because he doesn't want to get elevated, especially with Erich's control on the right hand. He has Kaynan's sleeve. He can use his right leg to off-balance Kaynan earlier to what we saw before, take him over to his left side since he has that leg secured and Kaynan can't really post out on the right leg.
Now Kaynan has both lapel grips, trying to lift Erich out, create some more pressure. We saw Erich sweep to his right side with that sleeve grip to score his first 2 points. He's got that sleeve grip again. We'll see if he tries to do the same thing.
Erich bringing that butterfly hook in. Brings his shin back inside. He can use his right foot to step and extend that leg. Earlier we saw something very similar from Erich. Now Kaynan's left hand on the mat as a post can be pulled in at any moment, it looks like, by Erich and taking that post away. Kaynan doing a great job balancing on that left leg, but Erich really seriously off balancing him, can switch in a single leg X, which is similar to what we're seeing here, but he actually has his foot on the bicep.
Yeah, that was a very cool transition. Looked like he was trying to off balance Kaynan, switch sides to the opposite side, single leg X, foot on the bicep. Another strong sweeping position for Erich Munis. Coming up on 2 minutes left here in the super heavyweight final at the 2023 World Jiu-Jitsu Championships. This match is all tied up. Erich with 2 points, Kaynan with 2 points, and they have 1 penalty apiece as well.
And what's nice to mention here as well is that even though Erich is not ahead on the scoreboard, if we look at the path to scoring, Kaynan has a very long road to scoring from here, seemingly from an outside perspective, because he's tied up in quite an intricate guard, where Erich, with 1:30 on the clock, has a much, maybe let's say it like this, less steps to take to get to a scoring position than Kaynan does. So if someone is in the driver's seat, it is certainly Erich Munis, and with a tight scoreboard and 1:20 left in this finals, that is a very significant fact. We saw a little bit of an off-balance sit from Kaynan there. He sat down to his hip, but right back up. Not enough for an advantage, but certainly Erich's doing. And now Erich switching into, almost looked like he was about to be in a double ankle sweep. Still has that lapel wrapped through the back of the knee, though.
Yeah, the lapel grip giving Kaynan a lot of trouble. Erich doing such a good job using it to control Kainan's movement and negate some of the pressure that Kaynan is able to put on his opponents when he's in top position.
Saw Erich be able to sweep the ankle through of Kaynan and then use that to elevate the leg, landing here in closed guard. Now, even though we're in closed guard, this is a still very difficult position for Kaynan because that lapel is still through. Still has the lapel leg through. So when he stands up, he's automatically in danger. He doesn't have any clear paths to victory just yet.
Erich trying to create a better angle, opening his guard. 20 seconds left in this super heavyweight final.
Got to imagine neither athletes want to leave it to a ref's decision. You never know what will happen with those. And Erich with some big sweeping extension here at the end of our match, but not quite able to tilt Kaynan over. Now Kaynan could be into a better passing position than we've seen him so far, if not for that lapel.
Kaynan just has a rock solid base. So hard to sweep him while balancing.
As time runs down though, we are going to have to see what our judges decide. These two world champions meeting at a different weight class. Who is going to be crowned the victor here today? It's going to come down to our judge's opinion.
Very technical battle here in the super heavyweight final. Kaynan Duarte, Erich Munis, both two-time world champions. We're about to find out who's going to get their third black belt world title here in a moment. And it's going to go to Erich Munis.
Split decision.
Split decision.
Erich Munis.
Erich gets his third black belt world title.
A repeat of the super heavy champion. Last year won the super heavy against Nicholas Marigali. Proposed to his then girlfriend on the mats. Now not quite the same ending here as he gives Kaynan a big hug, but another world title nonetheless. Kaynan with an amazing performance in a new weight class. Loved seeing him at super heavy. Such a tight end to our final.
And we're going to get to see Erich go for another world title in the open class. He'll be taking on Victor Hugo. 2021, 2022, and now 2023 super heavyweight world champion Erich Munis, representing Fratres Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Very technical battle. Let's take a look at a replay. Kaynan gets that come-up sweep you talked about, Kendall.
Yeah, that was a big moment to start off the match, but once he was in Erich's guard, it was very, very difficult. We saw a big sweep from Erich. Now remember, Kaynan did come up for a sweep again, didn't score the two, and Erich really intelligently pulled, and that was the game changer of the match because that put Erich in his preferred scoring position right here. Kaynan was almost able to score. Erich repulled, and then from there, Erich really was in the driver's seat playing guard for the rest of the match.
In third place, representing sixth place Jiu-Jitsu.